Guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave. The National Basketball League just gave us one of those nights that fans will talk about for weeks if not months. Everything pointed toward another blowout loss in a tough road city, but what we witnessed was the complete opposite: a thrilling turnaround, a gritty performance, and perhaps a new chapter in this team season. The atmosphere was electric and the message was loud and clear: this squad might finally be figuring things out when it matters most, coming off one of their worst performances of the year, a humiliating 51-point loss where one of their key players didn't even score a single point. The expectations were low. That game was a disaster, possibly rock bottom. They had dropped 7 of their last 8 games in that city, and the vibe heading into this rematch felt more like survival mode than a shot at redemption. But right from the opening quarter the energy was different there. Team came out firing, putting up 45 points in the first 12 minutes, their highest scoring quarter the season, surpassing even their previous best of 43 points just a few nights prior. Long range shots that usually rim out started falling, and suddenly the building turned into a playoff-like cauldron. What followed was a game packed with moments: a near record night from behind the arc, a huge late game block, a clutch three-pointer with under a minute left, and oh, the trash talk, 2 players getting into it, exchanging words and pushing each other to the edge. This wasn't just a regular season game anymore, it was a statement, a test of character, and for once this team passed with flying colors. Fans watching at home were treated to a roller coaster of emotions, and if you got a favorite moment from the night, drop in the comments, because there were plenty to choose from. One of the biggest takeaways wasn't just the win but how they got it done. This was a team often criticized for its lack of size and physicality. They run out there shortest starting 5 in their league, a lineup many doubted from day one, but with this win that group now holds a perfect 12-0 record when starting together. That's not a coincidence anymore. Like it or not, this is the core that's finding chemistry at the right time. The slow starts that plagued them early in the season are fading, replaced by sharp ball movement, timely shooting, and a growing confidence. They went up against a massive Memphis squad featuring players well over 2 meters tall and weighing over 200 kilos and still came out on top. That's not luck, that's growth, and at the center of it all was the team's maestro, their leader, who had a night for the ages: 52 points, 12 made 3-pointers out of 20 attempts. He was chasing history all night, nearly breaking the league record for most threes in a game, just one shy of his personal best of 13. He went cold towards the end, missing 3 in a row during that hunt, but it didn't matter. By halftime time everyone was asking the same question: are we witnessing another iconic performance? Turns out, yes, he added 10 rebounds, 8 assists and 5 steals to his stat line. That's an MVP night, no question, and he did all that while absorbing contact after contact. No less than 12 fouls went uncalled. At one point he snapped, getting into a heated exchange with a defender that almost escalated. The frustration was boiling over and you could see it in his face. He was tired of the missed calls, of being held and hacked with no whistles blown. The officiating raised eyebrows all night. There was an obvious shove that sent a player crashing to the ground. No call. Later, a dangerous play where an opposing player stepped directly on another's ankle had the entire bench holding their breath. The injured player rolled in pain for what felt like minutes before getting up and continuing, which in itself was a small miracle. Still, the tension was real and the risks of injury in such high-stakes games are always looming. Despite the chaos, the star wasn't alone. Another player stepped up with 27 points, hitting 7 of 11 shots, pulling down 6 boards and dishing out 4 assists. He wasn't flashy, but he was efficient on defense. He was disruptive, grabbing 3 steals and making timely plays that kept the momentum going. He also went perfect from the free throw line, as did the entire team. A ridiculous 28 for 28 on the night. That kind of execution is rare and speaks to the focus this team brought into the game, yet the search for a consistent third scoring option continued. One player put up 13 points but was inefficient, hitting only 1 of 7 for beyond the arc and just 4 of 12 overall. Another who had just hit a career-high 7 threes in the previous game went 0 for 4. The inconsistency was there, and in another game it might have cost them, but not tonight, because when it mattered most someone always stepped up, whether it was a putback layup to push the score to 127 with a minute left or a dagger 3 that sealed it with 40 seconds remaining. They found ways to close. This wasn't just a win, it was a breakthrough. They built a 17-point lead. They early lost it in the third and still found a way to grind it out until the final buzzer that shows resilience. The opponent, despite being in a slump and coming off multiple losses, remains one of the toughest outs in the Western Conference, and if they figure things out by the time playoffs roll around they'll be dangerous. But tonight it was all about the winners, about proving they could win even with only 9 players available and without their full bench rotation. The bench, typically its strength, was quiet, but the starters carried the weight, and that might just be the formula moving forward. The upcoming schedule doesn't get any easier. They're wrapping up a 6-game road trip with a stop in Los Angeles to face the 4th seed, followed by a home game against Denver and then a trip to Houston for challenging matchups to close out the season. But here's the twist: after everything that happened in February, this team is now sitting in 5th place. That's right, 5th. If you'd said that 2 months ago, people would have laughed. But not anymore. They own the tie-breakers over their closest rival, which gives them a crucial edge heading into the final stretch. Before the game, the big news was the absence of one key player, initially ruled out with an ankle injury that was later updated to a pelvic issue. The footage from when he went down made it obvious it wasn't the ankle, it was his hip. That alone would have been enough drama, but there's more. There's a growing conversation around whether the team might actually play better without him. It's controversial, sure, but the numbers just something worth looking into. Since early February, after a key addition to the roster, analysts began separating stats into 2 distinct timelines before and after this new player joined, and when isolating the numbers from that point forward, an interesting pattern emerges. With the injured player on the court, the team's offensive efficiency noticeably dips. The average points per game drop from 121 to 112. The pace slows down with nearly 5 fewer possessions per game. Offensive rating takes a hit, dipping from 121 to 117. It's not catastrophic, but it's enough to raise eyebrows. Defensively, there's a slight uptick. That's the one area where his presence seems to help. But the bigger question isn't about whether he contributes, it's about whether he fits. There's a sense that when he's out there something doesn't click. The flow feels off, the spacing gets tighter, and the team's movement loses its rhythm. This isn't to say he's not talented, he clearly is, but talent doesn't always translate to harmony, and that's where the debate gets interesting. Some argue he's too raw, still learning the intricacies of the system. Others believe he simply needs more time and a clearer role. Either way, it's a puzzle the coaching staff will need to solve, and fast. The head coach, known for favoring high IQ players who understand angles, timing and unselfish play, has leaned heavily into a lineup that emphasizes decision-making over physical dominance, and the current starting 5 exemplifies that philosophy. Every one of them knows how to move without the ball, how to read a defense, how to make the extra pass that might explain why the unit is undefeated when starting together. It's not just about size or speed, it's about synergy. Back to the win in Memphis, what made it even more impressive was how the team closed. For years critics said they couldn't win tough, grinded out games on the road, that they lived and died by the 3-point shot. But this time they mixed things up. Yes, the threes were falling, but so were the second chance points, the stops on defense, the clutch free throws. In the final 5 minutes they locked in on both ends, showing a level of poise that hasn't always been there this season. One moment that stood out was the hustle play that turned into a momentum swing, a loose ball scramble, a tipped rebound and a save for going out of bounds that led to a corner 3. The play didn't show up on the stat sheet as much as it did in the energy of the team. You could feel it. Suddenly every player was diving or loose balls helping each other up, slapping the hardwood. That intangible fire had been missing for stretches this season, but it was back tonight. Then there's the emotional edge. The confrontation late in the fourth between two players could have gone badly. It could have turned into a scuffle, but instead it ignited a fire. The home crowd booed, the bench stood up, and the team responded with a 60 run. There's a fine line between composure and complacency, and this time they walked it perfectly. They didn't lose control. They leaned into the moment. Looking ahead, the next few games will tell us a lot. The team is on a mission to avoid the play-in tournament altogether, and every game matters. The margins are razor thin in the West. A single loss can drop you 3 spots, while a win can push you into home court advantage territory. But what this one showed is that they're capable, not just capable of scoring a ton or lighting it up from 3, but capable of battling, of adjusting, of surviving. Physicality, that's the DNA of a contender, and the role of the new addition to the roster can't be overlooked. Since his arrival, the entire tempo has shifted. He brings control, spacing, and veteran savvy with him, initiating the offense. Others are free to do what they do best. The floor opens up, cutting lanes appear, and shooters get cleaner looks. It's no wonder the team's offensive number spiked after he joined. The challenge now is managing rotations, especially once the injured player returns. Finding that balance between development and winning is never easy, but with the postseason looming, there's not much room for experimentation. Every minute on the floor has to count. The coaching staff knows that. You can see it in the Titan rotation in Memphis. Just 9 players used, no room for error. The usual bench depth was trimmed, but the results were undeniable. Sometimes less is more, especially when chemistry is flowing, and while it's not sustainable for an entire series, it's a glimpse into what playoff basketball might look like. Off the court conversation. NSR swirling. Fans are split on what the ideal rotation should be, so I want to give the younger guys more on, arguing they bring energy and unpredictability. Others push for the veterans, trusting their experience and ability to handle pressure. It's a classic dilemma, and one that might not have a perfect solution. Still, when a team drops 52 points from its star, hits all 28 of its free throws, and gets clutch plays from role players, the noise fades in the background, because nights like this remind everyone what this group is capable of, and maybe just maybe they're paying at the right time. Now all eyes turn to Los Angeles, another hostile arena, another test against a high-seated opponent, but this time they're going in with momentum, confidence, and a chip on their shoulder. Whether the injured player returns or not, the identity is starting to form. The questions about fit, chemistry, and potential don't disappear, but they quiet down when the scoreboard tells the story. It's still a long road. The standings are tight. His schedule is unforgiving and a margin for error is thin, but tonight was a reminder that when this team is locked in, when the ball is moving, when the defense is active and the star is hot, they can beat anyone anywhere. And as the regular season winds down and playoff matchups begin to take shape, one thing is becoming clear: no one's going to want to face them in a 7-game series, not if they keep playing like this. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. In an unexpected twist, Luka Doncic, the Slovenian basketball sensation now with the Los Angeles Lakers, has ignited a firestorm with recent remarks about the Golden State Warriors. Known for his commanding presence on the court, Doncic candid comments about the Warriors' playing style and their dominance in the NBA sparked immediate debate across social media platforms and sports news outlets. What exactly did he say, and why has it caused such a stir in a basketball world? According to sources, Doncic was critical of the Warriors' reliance on the three-point shot, suggesting that their playing style is overly focused on long-range shooting rather than a more traditional dynamic approach to offense. It's not real basketball, Doncic reportedly said, referencing Golden State's historic success with their perimeter-based strategy. His words quickly gained traction, with many fans and analysts question whether comments were a subtle jab at the Warriors' iconic Splash Brothers duo of Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson. For years the Warriors have been the face of the NBA's three-point revolution, a dynasty led by Curry, who has redefined the game with his incredible range. Doncic, however, has built his own career around an all-encompassing skill set combining scoring, playmaking, and rebounding. His preference for a more versatile approach to the game is well documented, but his blunt critique of Golden State's approach has raised eyebrows, as expected there. Warriors fan base did not take K. In later Doncic comments, social media exploded with fans defending their team's revolutionary playing style, while some former players and analysts have sided with Luka, agreeing that a balance of offense is crucial for long-term success in the NBA. The debate is far from over, and the controversy seems poised to follow Doncic throughout the rest of his career. In the midst of all this, one thing is clear: Luka Doncic is never one to shy away from speaking his mind. Whether his remarks about the Warriors will spark a lasting rivalry or simply fade into the noise of the NBA's daily drama remains to be seen. What's certain is that this fiery comment has only added fuel to the fire of what is already shaping up to be a legendary career. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts and comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.